Breaking news today, ladies and gentlemen. Julian Assange has been arrested. This, of course, is the founder of Wikileaks. He's been held up in the Ecuadorian embassy for the past 7 years, up until early this morning when he was forcefully removed, and he's now facing being extradited among many other serious charges. But one thing that a lot of people aren't talking about today, and something that we're going to cover in this video, is the fact that the IMF has recently just approved $4.2 billion loan for Ecuador, get this, less than a month before the arrest of Julian Assange. And I think this has major implications. And joining us on the line right now is our East Coast correspondent, Leigh Stuart. Leigh, thank you so much for joining us today to break down this breaking news. When I first heard that he was arrested this morning, I wasn't necessarily surprised, because I kind of felt it coming, but it still did feel like a little bit of a shock, a little bit of a blow. What was your initial reaction when you heard the news that Assange was arrested today?
Well, the mainstream media had been buzzing that this was going to happen for the past few days. And it comes off the coattails of Bradley Manning being held in solitary confinement for not testifying for information that had been brought forward by Sessions. And this is quite telling, because the information that has been brought out by WikiLeaks, and the fact that Julian Assange could be held in contempt or fleeing persecution for presenting the truth and presenting information that should be made public. People should be aware of the knowledge that he had been putting forward war crimes by the U.S. government. He actually put out the famous footage of the helicopter that was picking off civilians in the Iraq War. This should be made public, and I think it's a shame that it sets a precedent for journalists worldwide, and everyone should be concerned about this. Absolutely.
Yeah, as I believe Edward Snowden is quoted as saying, it's indeed a dark day for the press. And it really is. Regardless of what you think about Julian Assange, the point is that information was leaked. It did show severe corruption within the American government, and that's a serious issue for them. And they're going to be clamping down not only on him, but people moving forward. It's been talked that this could be a show trial, so to speak, in the sense that he will be put on display to be made an example for other journalists out there, so that they can say, look, this is what's going to happen to you if you want to venture out and be a whistleblower. You want to leak documents. You want to take that stance. This could be your fate. And they're essentially probably going to use him to shake up other journalists moving forward. Now, this one is just out from Gizmodo. Let's take a look at this. Julian Assange dragged out of Ecuadorian embassy and arrested by British police. Julian Assange has been arrested by police in London after almost 7 years in the Ecuador embassy. The WikiLeaks founder was dragged out of the embassy approximately 10:35 a.m. local time. Assange was formally charged by the Department of Justice this morning with conspiracy to commit computer intrusion for agreeing to break a password to a classified U.S. government computer. Assange did not leave of his own free will, and he could be heard shouting, "UK must resist, you can resist," as he was physically moved out of the Ecuadorian embassy by several men. The arrest was live streamed on YouTube. And we do have footage of that YouTube, so I wouldn't mind showing you that. We'll cut to a clip of that now, and just check this out. I don't know if you've seen the footage, Leigh, but here it is of Assange physically being dragged out of the embassy. Now, there's something interesting that has been noted, and we'll see if you guys notice this as well. Well, there he's already being put into the van. And when he was first dragged out, let me pull that back and play it once more. There he is. Big beard and all. Does anybody notice the thing that he has in his hand there? Did you see that, Leigh? He appears to be holding a book in his hands. Um, what do you think that's all about? Because
That's he's sending a message, absolutely.
yeah, this is the book he was holding. It was by Gore Vidal, History of the National Security State. It includes Vidal on America, a collection of original interviews with acclaimed author Gore Vidal. Could this be Assange's way of getting out the code? You know, is there a hidden message in this? I don't know, but hopefully some internet sleuths out there will dig deep into this book. Do you think it's possible, Leigh, that maybe this is literally a message? I mean, it seems odd that he would make a note to carry this book out while he's being arrested, unless he really meant it.
Well, he has, right, and he is known for exposing corruption within the U.S. government, especially the U.S. military complex. What are his crimes exactly? He is the founder of WikiLeaks, which was a place where whistleblowers could go to expose information that needed to be made public, that civilians had the right to know. And now, the government is kind of going to be using him as a martyr, like you said. And I think that we're going to see his punishment to the fullest. He's even facing death potentially in the U.S. if he is extradited. And I just want to also draw attention to the CNN correspondent Jim Acosta, who there was outrage by mainstream media outlets when Donald Trump stripped his credentials away from him. Why is there such outrage from Jim Acosta being stripped away of his journalism rights inside the White House, and complete silence regarding Julian Assange?
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely insane. In fact, you reminded me of this tweet that I got to show you. I just saw it from Chuck Schumer, and I almost had to wonder, is this guy being for real? It says, "Now that Julian Assange has been arrested, I hope he will soon be held accountable for his meddling in our elections on behalf of Putin and the Russian government." Is this guy serious? Does he actually think that this has anything to do with Russian interference into the election? Leigh, do you think that right now they're doing this and possibly are going to use this as a way to bring up the Mueller probe, the Mueller investigation? You know, now we're hearing that it's going to be released, but it might be redacted and yada, yada, yada. Is this a way to reinvigorate that fire and get people behind that ridiculous Russian meme again?
I think they are setting a precedent. They want people afraid to tell the truth. That's the bottom line. And Donald Trump turning a blind eye instead of pardoning Julian Assange is absolutely just disgusting behavior. Pretending that he doesn't know what is going on, what WikiLeaks even is, when he used WikiLeaks as a talking point in his campaign. I think you've got a few quotes, if I'm not mistaken, of Donald Trump throughout the years actually acknowledging the great work that WikiLeaks did. And now he's turning a blind eye. It's just absolutely appalling.
Yeah, this was pointed out by journalist Ford Fisher. Trump back in October 10th of 2016 says, quote, "I love WikiLeaks." Just a month later, he says, quote, "This WikiLeaks is like a treasure trove." A month after that, he says, "I love reading these WikiLeaks." Fast forward to today, what does he say? "I know nothing about WikiLeaks. It's not my thing. It's not my deal in life." So Trump cannot be trusted when it comes to WikiLeaks. In fact, the whole global oligarchy cannot be trusted because of this. And I want to turn to this now. The IMF just approved a $4.2 billion loan to Ecuador, and this happened less than a month before this arrest. Let me just read from this article. The International Monetary Fund on Monday approved a $4.2 billion three-year loan for Ecuador, part of a broader aid package to help support the government's economic reform program. The Washington-based lender agreed to the terms of the financing late last month, and the final approval of the IMF board on Monday released the first installment of $652 million. So it looks like the country of Ecuador has possibly being bought off, and paid off by, external forces who are pressuring them to do so. Let's not forget the fact that they do have a new president, and a lot of people are claiming that he has a lot to do with Assange's removal as well. Have you heard of this, Leigh, the new president kind of being involved? Maybe he was forced into this. Perhaps this is kind of being pushed onto them by the IMF. What are your thoughts on Ecuador accepting this loan from the IMF just 1 month before this arrest? Seems kind of telling to me.
Right. I've been taught to always follow the money, and that's usually where the answer lies. Listen, the government wants us to listen to corporate shills like CNN, like mainstream media, who are, in fact, they've been caught lying several times, and they want us to turn a blind eye to real journalism, real answers, real truth, and they'll do anything to stop the truth about their corruption getting out. And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to stop questioning journalists. I'm going to keep even questioning them even more. And I really hope Julian Assange comes out on top of this, because, like I said, he is a martyr. And this is really going to set a precedent for journalism in the U.S. and worldwide, as far as I'm concerned. So my thoughts and prayers are definitely on the side of Julian Assange, and hopefully the UK decides to change their mind on extraditing him to the U.S.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what he's actually being extradited for. This out from BBC.com. Why does the U.S. government want to extradite Assange? Assange set up Wikileaks in 2006 with the aim of obtaining and publishing confidential documents and images. The organization hit the headlines 4 years later when it released footage of U.S. soldiers killing civilians from a helicopter in Iraq. Former U.S. intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning was arrested in 2010 for disclosing more than 700,000 confidential documents, videos, and diplomatic cables to the anti-secrecy website. She said she only did so to spark debates about foreign policy, but U.S. officials said the leak put lives at risk. She was found guilty on a court martial in 2013 of charges including espionage. However, her jail sentence was later commuted. Now, what are the charges against him? Well, the indictment against Assange issued last year in the state of Virginia alleged that he conspired in 2010 with Manning to access classified information on the Department of Defense computers, and he now faces up to 5 years in jail. So this is seriously, we're talking about 5 years in jail for, as you said at the start of this video, literally just showing the truth, giving the American people what they deserve to see, because those Iraq war logs were disgusting. And, it's a heroic move. It's a very brave move to take the stance to release that when you know you're going to be ticking off one of the most biggest, powerfulest, organized mafia gangs in the world. So I got to give props to Assange for releasing the Iraq war logs. Leigh, 5 years. This is probably going to, have some journalists shaking in their boots. Certainly some whistleblowers, especially people who currently have information now and are thinking about coming forward. Maybe now they're gonna think twice. But I hope to God that that's not the case. What do you think?
I also want to remind people of the sexual assault accusations against Julian Assange that they tried to make him come out of hiding for. And they said, if you just come out of hiding and kind of acknowledge this and testify, and there wouldn't be any other charges laid on. And he literally quoted his lawyers on his behalf this morning at the press conference. He said, "I told you so." And these aren't going to be the end of the charges of what we know now. I bet you they'll be racking them up. And this is just the beginning, as far as I'm concerned, as far as charges go against Julian Assange. This is just crazy. And like I said, I really hope that the UK decides not to extradite him to the United States.
Yeah, it's sad to say, but I agree. I think they're going to try everything they can do to run him through the mud, discredit him as much as they possibly can in a massively public show trial. to try to set an example for any kind of journalists who wants to be brave enough moving forward to release that type of information. So this is an incredibly important one for us to continue to pay attention to, guys. This is why we wanted to break this to you today. Leigh, do you have any other thoughts, any other points on this that you wanted to get out in regards to where this could be leading for the future of the freedom of the press?
Well, I mean, we've been seeing nonstop 1984 instruction manual happen right before our eyes. Now our journalism is being attacked. I can just encourage people to keep seeking truth and don't be afraid, because that's exactly what they want. Question mainstream media, and I'm just speechless about this. Really, I think it's going to be a tough road ahead for the people and information. It's a war on information. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They have just kicked up the info war by a major notch by taking out Assange. It's like they took out one of our limbs in the freedom and liberty movement. But there is room for healing, guys, and we just need to continue to pay attention to this. We need to raise awareness about this, and we got to let other journalists out there know. Don't let this shake you down. Don't let this make you afraid. They're certainly just trying to use this as a show trial to scare other people out of doing similar things. That's all for today, guys. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Leigh, thank you so much for joining us to cover this breaking news today. Guys, if you appreciate this video, please click the thumbs up button, share this one, get the word out about what's happening to Julian Assange. And if you support our efforts, please check the links in the description to find out how you can join us or how you can contribute. And that's all for today. I want to thank you once again, Leigh. I want to thank you all for tuning in. This is Dan Dix and Leigh Stuart reporting for Press for Truth. We'll see you next time. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.